Grand rising, everyone, to you and yours. Hoping I'm finding you in good health and in good favor on this wonderful Wednesday. Before we get started with today's show, let's make sure we keep Deb in our prayers and Amber and her family in our prayers as well. I won't mention what's going on or what, just keep them in prayer. That's all we need to know, right? That's all. We don't need to get into any details. They know what's going on. And at the end of the day, we're just here to pray for them. So, welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. I'm your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News. Hashtag I'm Gonna Say It is where we take events that's going on today and we speak on them, topics that's going on today and we speak on them. Some political, some celebrity wise and things of that nature. And just real life stuff, just real life common folk situations. We talk on that. At times as well. So that's what this show is about. That's what this platform is about. It's not any judgment, anything like that. We try to help as much as we can, too. If you have things you need to get out and just need some people to talk to, we try to make ourselves available for that, too, because, everybody needs help sometimes. And when I say help, I mean just somebody to talk to, just to get things out, just to bounce an idea off of, or just to come up with a plan on how to navigate through certain things. Regardless of what you're going through or what you experience, that could help somebody that's going through the same thing or something similar along the way. They could use your help. So, you can bring it here. That's what my platform is for. All right. But before we get started in today's show, we got to make sure we cover ourselves from a legal perspective.
Welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. All things said in today's show are for entertainment purposes and alleged only. If you are below the age of 18 years old, we request that you leave the live now. Enjoy.
Elisa 2791, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you for coming in and joining us today. I appreciate your presence. I'm going to start. Typically, we do like 2 to 3 segments, but I'm gonna have 4 today. Okay, and I'm feeling peachy. I'm feeling alien today, so I got on my peach hashtag I'm gonna say it shirt. Those are available as well if you would like to purchase one. And I got the Fox Theater behind me. As you know, if you've ever been to the A, you know that's a famous theater, and it's located on Peachtree Street, which is what we pretty much known for here in the A. Peachtree Street, like we got so many of them. You can't tell somebody if you hear and you trying to get directions. You can't just say, "Hey, I'm on Peachtree Street," because they got like 45 different streets you could have been on. You got to be more specific on where you at, you know. But yeah, let's just go. Shout out to Outkast. Shout out to Outkast for being not nominated. They actually are going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Shout out to my fellow AT aliens. All right, so now let's get started with today's show. So I know you all have things to do. I won't hold you longer. Opening segment gonna be pretty quick. And the source cred is Kadisha Lynn. As y'all know, she's a great content creator on YouTube, here on TikTok, and other places as well. Thank you for that heartbeat. I appreciate that, Elisa. Thank you so much. Thank you, love. And what we're going to take from her is it says, well, we have to use code names here as well. Good morning, bestie. We use code names. For those that's new here, we use code names. So I'm going to say Puffy Jacket, right? That's who we when we say Puffy Jacket, we talking about a person that had a record label, but he's now incarcerated for some serious stuff, right? So it says Puffy Jacket hit with new criminal allegations from new victims. Now this is nothing new. Just saying good morning, Rita. Good morning. How you doing? This is nothing new. We said that things were still coming out, but the problem is the trial is next week. So how's it gonna go? But without further ado, let's deep dive and find out what she's saying about this, what her investigation has uncovered.
Diddy has been hit with more criminal allegations just a week away from trial, and boy, he is not happy. Diddy just filed a new motion to the judge saying that he wants a new enterprise letter that the feds dropped on him with numerous new criminal allegations and new victims added, either thrown out or his trial extended out longer so he has time to investigate all of these new claims. As you can see, Diddy and his team said that the government sent a new enterprise letter at 11:15 p.m. on Sunday, April 20th. They ain't playing no games. They sent this at 11:15 at night on Easter Sunday. This new enterprise letter has new allegations that span 2 pages, covering multiple victims, additional incidents, and criminal allegations. They are saying it's absolutely impossible to investigate these new criminal allegations in this new enterprise letter because some of the things they do are confer with Diddy about the alleged incidents. They determine what other participants and witnesses, including but not limited to escorts, may have been present at the time of an alleged incident. They interview potential witnesses, which often involve intensive negotiations with witnesses, counsel, and cross-country travel. In this enterprise letter, the government still says that the investigation into Diddy is still ongoing, and this is something that we've seen them say in every enterprise letter that they've dropped, and they say that they may still add additional allegations. Diddy and his team are basically saying that the government has a deadline where they had to put in these enterprise letters, but it's not fair that the government gets to continue adding more enterprise letter, primarily centered around the RICO charge up until the eve of trial. And an enterprise letter is how you detail more and more allegations that fall under that RICO charge, because we know that it has a numerous amount of allegations that fall underneath of it. But
That's one thing we always wonder, like how does one person get a RICO charge? So, maybe, well, this is breaking it down, I guess, how he got there. We're going to call it Ricardo because we don't want no trouble. The Ricardo Act.
Diddy is saying that he has another problem with this new enterprise letter because this enterprise letter was put out 2 weeks after the grand jury wrapped everything up. He's trying to claim that the government did not present this information to the grand jury. We do not know if that's true because the government hasn't responded, but this is what he is alleging. Based off how Diddy's team writes this, they say that only victim 4 in the second superseding indictment had forced labor allegations against Diddy, but now it's seeming like other victims might also have forced labor allegations against Diddy as well. So Diddy is telling the judge, for one, he either wants this whole enterprise letter with all of these new criminal allegations and more either thrown out, or he wants his trial pushed out longer so he has time to investigate all of these claims. But we know Diddy had just tried this and the judge denied him and said, you have plenty of lawyers and you're the one that wanted a speedy trial, so buddy, you're about to get it. Now Diddy has another court hearing this Thursday to argue more things between his defense and the government, like we've seen them do over the past couple weeks, and I'm sure by then the judge is probably going to rule on this new enterprise letter with new allegations and new victims. But I'm also sure that the government is going to respond to Diddy's motion before this court on Thursday, but the judge probably won't make his decision until then. But y'all know I will be watching for it, but you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Okay, so as pretty much been saying this whole time, things are getting closer to the trial, and more stuff is coming out. And again, he has to have his day in court. He hasn't admitted to any guilt. We're not here to say he's guilty. That's not what we do here. We only bring you updates as they're happening. So we're not going to say he's guilty. We're not saying that, but we can say that things are not looking in his good or in his favor. Now, this is also kind of a devastating blow because she's right. When the judge told them that, hey, and when I say them, I'm talking about Puffy Jacket's defense team. In the beginning, they wanted a speedy trial, right? And so, and they've been granted that. You know, that I think that's the epitome of be careful what you ask for or wish for, because they got the speedy trial that they wanted. And by them wanting that and requesting that, all the things that have came out since they've wanted that or said that, it's like it's so many different things. There's so much coming out that they don't have time to prepare for it, right? Just saying 86 says his plea of ignorance should be admission of guilt. I agree with you on that, Bestie. I think that was the absolute worst thing his counsel could have ever thought would work. Like, I just don't understand where they thought that was a good idea. I don't. I'm trying to think how I want to do this because I wanted to go with that, but you know what? Since we're already, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna do it that way. Okay. So now on the second segment, we're gonna move on to Shannon Sharpe. I know if unless you've been under a rock, you've heard about the Shannon Sharpe situation. And with that, we have to play both sides of the coins, and we have to call it down the middle. Yes, it is proof that they had him and this young lady, alleged victim, who was 19 at the time, or you know, some of this stuff was going on. They did have a can I say a situationship? No, I can't put. They had an agreement to have a BDSM type relationship, right? Jenny says the prosecution, I believe, will drop a huge piece of evidence at the beginning. You talking about a Puffy Jackets trial? Because I do too. I think they have something in their back pocket that they're waiting to just like, you know, if you're playing what you call that? Spades, you slam the card down. Yeah, I think that's what they got too. That's what I think so too, best. I think they just gonna hold on to it and then just bring it out at that moment, and then it's just gonna be no way to recover or defend it, right? So yeah, we know that they Shay Shay, we'll say Shay Shay. We know that Shay Shay and this alleged victim did have a consensual role playing type of relationship. However, we also have heard the audio, the text when she says no means no. And so, again, it's going to fall into that area where timing is going to be everything because even if they had that kind of relationship, Demetrius, what's up, brother? How you doing? Hold on 1 second. I don't know why. Here's your comment. Man, act. He is doing same as Shaw. Yeah, he is. He is. It's like we said, two birds of a feather flock together. Unfortunately, with this situation, it's like 100 of birds of the same feather flocking together. Jess Ann says, man, that shark case is hard for me. I don't know who to believe. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying too, Bestie, because you have it on both sides. Like I can see where he's coming from. Whereas it could have been she really did get upset about him having sexual relationships on the Instagram live thing with another female and she got mad in this. But then at the same time, and I haven't seen it, but at the same time, some people who have seen the video of when he came to her apartment and they're saying allegedly raped her because you could hear the way she was crying and screaming that it wasn't, I guess, consensual. But I don't know. That's why I said this is something timing. I don't want to say too much on it because there's so many different variables that could be true. Timing is going to be impeccable on here. This is going to be very important on the timing when everything happened, right? However, what we're about to bring up and talk about, and I can't even say it don't look good in his favor. I want to say it won't look good in his favor, but at the same time, other people do it too. You know? Jenny says, yeah, but if I were Shay Shay, I get the best PR crisis team and quit talking. That would be by far the best thing he could do for himself. However, in the second segment, what we're about to talk about, and this source credit is Tisa Tell. It says Shay Shay makes secret new settlement offer, desperate to make it all go away after major, I'm sure major, the news that came out. So again, with that being said, part of me says that's not a good look, because now this makes like the second time that we know of that you've tried to pay her off to be quiet. Right, Jess-Ann says that screams suspicion to me. And that's where I'm at with that. That's the other side of the coin. That don't look so good for him. Demetrius says he is cooked regardless in the public eye. No lies detected, my brother. No lies detected on that. Jenny says he needs to let his lawyer wheel and deal and stop jumping to get rid of it. Yeah, but the thing about that is, I mean, you're right. You're right, Jenny. You're right. It's just now with all of this happening, I don't know if that's going to even work anymore. I don't know if that's going to work. But let's see.
Oh my God, you guys come and sit down and shut the door. We got to talk about Shannon Sharp. Have y'all heard what's going on there? Oh my God, listen, I know what you're saying. Unc is down bad. At the very least, he looks creepy AF. At the very worst, baby, he's on some Diddy time. Regardless of who you believe, one person that is literally regretting all his choices and is open to settling. Y'all, they are saying that Shannon Sharp is now eating his words, eating a piece of humble pie, and he is reaching out to that girl because he wants to settle. That's right, Shannon. He is cheaper to keep her. On top of that, that little girl had you wrapped around her finger, so 150%. You're going to be right back over there once you pay her that 20 million. Once a trick, always a trick. I'm just saying, don't blame me. That's like Proverbs. Anyway, so what's going on? And how's it happening? A lot of industry insiders looked at Shannon's legal strategy and they said two things. One, your lawyer's an idiot. Even in the best of times, this was very, very stupid. Two, baby, you are not Jay-Z. Three, Disney is not writing out for you the way that they wrote out for Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, Shannon, listen, and this ain't disrespectful, Shannon. I'm
They
just
not.
built a lot. But come on now.
Yeah,
There's
she's
all
right.
this
You're right,
evidence.
Jenny.
You have her on text being like, no means no. Now, here's the thing. Some people are trying, so Shannon has all his media people trying to put out feelers for why that girl should settle. Tony Busby is like, F it, we're taking it to court. Even though I'm telling you, Shannon don't got as much money as Tony Busby thinks he does. They should have waited till after he got that contract, then sued him. I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, like, Shannon, he has,
We have a commercial. If you like the content, people, please tap and clap. Share if you care. Gift and uplift. All greatly appreciated.
Shannon, he's like, okay, with that girl, sorry, I lost track of time. Let me get to my point. With Shannon, at first he was like, yo, I'm not doing this. But now it seems like people are like, you need to settle. If you settle, it is still early enough to pay her to go away. And you could be like, this is.
Hold on. Let me stop it 1 second, and then we're going to get back to it. Jess-Ann says, still crazy to me that it's Tony B of all people. Yeah, that murks the water too, because we see what he went through with Camel Face. So his credibility is kind of shaky. Real quick, let's point out something. In the beginning, and hold on.
Allegedly, in the beginning.
This young lady was asking him for 50 mil off top. You want me to be quiet? You don't want me to say nothing? You don't want me to go public? I'm going to need 50 mil. And like my man said, allegedly, Shay Shay responded to her with, you out of your mind. Giving you that kind of money, you're crazy. And I'm just paraphrasing. This ain't what happened. I'm just trying to, we're trying to paint a picture here. So he said, I'm not giving you that kind of money. Nah, I'm not doing it. And she said, okay. Maybe he thought she was bluffing, but she did come out. And then he said, okay, look. I give you 10 million. I give you 10 million. He says 50 million was too much, so he's gonna give her 10 million. Now, to the mass majority of us, we're saying, well, why would you pay 10 million if you're innocent? And then people will argue, and they stand the right to, that a lot of people pay settlements, and paying a settlement isn't an admission of guilt, which is true. In this case, two things can be true at the same time. So, but now he comes right back around and he's trying to offer another secret settlement. He's trying to keep it secretive, but offers her another settlement. And on top of the offering the other settlement, he puts an additional 10 mil to it. And now he's offering her 20 million to just let it go. Not to mention, Shay Shay has prior charges, a couple of prior charges, or instances, or allegations, or whatever the word is to use for that, that pretty much involves the same type of behavior, actions, and rhetoric. So, although we don't have everything and all of the facts, what I do believe is when we say it's not looking good for him, this is what we're talking about. He's crashing out. Thank you for that heart me. I appreciate that, Jessica. Jessica, girl, how have you been? Thank you for that heart me. And I hope everything's going good with you. I hadn't heard from you.
Lies. I will never. And then you just keep it kind of straight and narrow. Shannon, if you can do that, right? But how's he getting that out? Tony Bennett doesn't want to settle. They're saying that little girl does want to settle. So they're trying to put out through media outlets how Busby is conning her by taking her to court because she'll never get close to that 10 million. Now, let me say this, right? DJ Vlad, I know. DJ Vlad, actually, people are saying he made an interesting point. I actually think that this is them trying to get the narrative out so that those people can literally, they can get the okay, like, yo, you need to come and settle with me. So here's what was actually said about Shannon Sharp, because what do y'all think? Read this and then I'm going to give y'all my opinion.
Good morning,
Actually,
Jessica.
I'm saying read this.
Jenny says Shay needs to listen to
Oh,
Monique and get him a grown woman.
To
Yeah,
me, the
facts.
strangest
Hey,
thing about the Shannon Sharp R case
just eat,
is her turning
be
down
taken
his
care
10 million
of, and
settlement
chill out.
offer. Tony Busby would have gotten 30% of that, and she would have received $7 million tax-free. If you put that in a 5% interest account, you would make $350K a year for the rest of your life without ever touching the $7 million. Instead, she's choosing to take it to court. This will take 1 to 3 years. She has a good chance of losing in court because Shannon is going to outspend her in legal costs. If she wins, the jury might award her less than $10 million. Shannon will protest that amount, which could drive the payment even further, drive it down even further. And if he loses,
Hold on. So, okay, so let's take that into account. Let's take that into account. If the alleged victim and this young lady actually took the payment or the settlement money that Shay Shay is offering her and then puts it in a bank, let it recruit, she would never have to touch it and make all that money. Right? She would never have to touch the 7 mil and it'd still make money for her. I think she just said $350,000 a year. I mean, and that's not shabby money, right? But even in that, she's still wanting to go to court where she could lose everything. She risks losing everything and not getting nothing. So when you factor in that, people, come on, because we just got to keep it real with reality when reality isn't keeping it real with us. When you see it from that perspective, and she's still wanting to go to court regardless and take a chance or take a hit at losing, all of that, I don't think she's lying. I just don't think she's lying. Just Ann says if she accepted that, we probably wouldn't have heard about this. Exactly. Exactly, Bessie. We would not have heard anything about it. It would have went away just as the previous two went away. And let's be honest, a lot of people didn't even know or remember about the two previous ones until this came up. I remember when it first came out, when this first came out and we was covering it, I was saying, I wonder how long it's going to take for people to bring up the previous case that he had. And at that time, I only knew about the 2010. That's the one I was talking about. I didn't even know there was a whole nother one. You understand? Wow, man. I'm just saying, everybody has their day or have their right to their day in court. But some things, I mean,
Loses, he'll appeal. It'll take another 1 to 2 years to get that back in court. And he might win the appeal, which would be another chance for her to get nothing. That's a potential delay of 5 years with a strong chance of getting nothing except a $10 million up front. Makes no financial sense. Now, I know.
see,
I know what you're saying. DJ Blad, he's been accused of being a racist culture vulture.
indeed.
But what do y'all think about his opinion on how Busby is legally moving? Is there any truth to it? I talked to a bunch of legal experts, and this is also my opinion. Yes and no. See, here's the thing. Vlad is notoriously bad with numbers. Remember when he tried to tell us that he couldn't pay Marlon Wayans, whatever it is, because he couldn't make it up in the numbers? Okay, you only know what you don't know. But my sources are telling me that Vlad and all these people saying how, oh, it's smart, she should have settled. They're trying to push her into not taking a trial, settling, so Shannon can make this whole thing go away like it never happened. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is a very ingenious plan, but I feel like all the men suggesting this are forgetting one key thing. See, that would make sense if she really was just out for a payday. And it would also, and I'm not saying that victims can't settle, but if she was only out for a payday, if she wanted that money as quick as possible, if she wanted to flex with that money, I could see her being like, all right, give me the $7 million.
That's exactly what we was just talking about. Right? And that's what we was just talking about. Jenny says, yes, but they shouldn't be punished for having a different kink. I agree. I don't listen. Whatever fetish somebody has, as long as it ain't I guess at the discretion of causing injury or bodily harm to somebody else, and I guess in that case they like that. But I'm just saying, like, where it's not where unalignment is going to be the end result. Have at it. Have at it. But so I'm not, spontaneous things. That's great. That's great. That's fun. It adds a little pizzazz to it. Costume, that's cool. So yeah, no knock if that's what she, if that was her thing. Now I can't say that I'm for Shay Shay's fetish of having racial role play. I don't. Yeah, we're not going to do that. That's not a turn on for me per se. But whatever flips his pancake, Jenny says, get it. Just make sure it's consensual. Yeah, that part. Like, I think you said it on a previous show, Jesse, and when you said, bring your lawyer with you, if you're going to go do something like that. We want to make sure everybody is on the same page and everybody know that this was consensual, right? Jenny says, just saying, I'm on the fence with that, though. On the fence with what, Jenny? I'm gonna play this until you respond. Then we're gonna talk. We're gonna come back.
It's
to
cool. I'll put it in an interest-bearing account. But, however, the one thing that all the men in the situation are overlooking is, what if Shannon really did grape her? What if what she said happened? What if they always had a uber spicy life, and now Shannon, he went overboard? What if it wasn't really a setup? See, that's the one thing that everybody's missing. What if she really wants to humiliate him and destroy his career? And anyway, even if you don't believe he raped her, and who knows, because it is a Tony Busby case, and I'll be serious, ever since we saw the way he handled that with Jay-Z, and the way he had no proof, and the way he withdrew from a bunch of Diddy cases, man, I don't believe anything Busby says without proof. Sorry. If it's Douglas Wigner, okay. If it's Tyrone Blackburn, absolutely. Tony Busby, right?
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. All I mean, it's just, I just feel like if she was out for the money, then yes, she would have taken it if nothing ever happened. Jenny says because people can misconstrue yes or no, especially when they have a kink like Shay. Right, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, Bestie. Like it's hard. That's where time time is going to have to play a factor because if here I'm gonna put it to you this way. If hold on, because I don't want us to miss none of that. Hold on. If she told him no, no means no. That text was sent, no means no. And then let's say after that she sent him that text message. Let's say the video that they're talking about where, and let's keep in mind, people, she has cameras all over her house because she's a OF content creator, right? So it recorded this. Now, so that's how people say that the video is available. So now if she sent the text no means no, and then what he allegedly done to her at her apartment was after that, then yeah, he's in trouble. He's in trouble because at the end of the day, if she said no means no, they're not going to say, well, that could have been part of the role play, which and that's what he could argue. Well, that's just what we did, like on the phone call that y'all heard, audio play, when I said that I was going to her in public, that's just part of the role playing that we do. He could say that. But I think that whatever that timing of that text message, no means no. Whatever happens after that, if anything happened after that, it's going to be detrimental.
Back to this. Even if you wanted the money and you're going to take it, it's like, what if she's just mad you cheated on her? What if she wants to destroy you? What if she doesn't like you? Now, I know what y'all saying. So what, dummy, Shannon? That's what you get, and that's 100% true. But there's a lot of moving parts, and all these people saying, oh, it doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't she just settle? Because at the end of the day, she wants him to be publicly punished, and she wants him to lose everything he has. Again, it makes sense if she actually was victimized. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, they're saying that Shannon is begging for anyone to get through and reach that girl so they can maybe be like, okay, how about if we do $15 million cash? How about if we do $20 million? I'll keep you out of it. You keep me out of it. Let's go. But Shannon is so turned out. He won't be there next month. I'm telling you, Shannon give me those vibes. But also, it's desperation because they're grasping at straws. She has text messages. She has a video, one that Shannon is furiously trying to get in front of. But also,
That's the video I'm telling y'all about. That's the video I was just mentioning. Jenny says to Jess saying, yeah, I agree. You think that, but sorry, shirt in the way. You think that, but bet he didn't think this was ever gonna happen. I'm sure. I think he was trying to call her bluff. I don't think he actually thought she was going to go through with it. I honestly don't, and that's giving me a Cassie and Puffy Jacket vibe. I think he thought he could still manipulate Cassie and control her, and then he didn't think she was going to go forth with it, and she did. And if we remember, hey Marie, good morning, Bestie. I'm sorry I didn't greet you when you came in. I probably wasn't looking at the screen. How are you doing this morning? I hope everything is good. But it's giving the same vibe because after Cassie did that, Puffy Jacket paid her the next day. You understand? And I'm getting the same vibe here with Shay Shay. I bet you, I'm willing to bet right now that all of that adult beverage that Shay Shay has, because I know he got his own, what's it called? Cognac, I think it was. Yeah, I think it's cognac. I bet he wants to drink his own supply right now, given all the trouble that's going on. Or, you know. Marie says, no worries. I was fussing at my sis Jenny. Y'all are funny. I love y'all. I love y'all.
Think about the way they are now trying to do the Jay-Z ploy and implicate Busby. However, with the Busby stuff and Jay-Z, Jay-Z had a much stronger case. Do you know what Shannon's saying, why this is all a setup? Because this girl, who's an OnlyFans model, that regularly dates ball players, athletes, and all this other stuff, took trips to Houston. And because she was in Houston, she must have been meeting with Tony Busby. Why else would an OnlyFans model that is fetishized by athletes, why else would she be in Houston? Like Shannon, he really didn't think
True.
this out.
True.
Busby went ahead and pulled out. I will say one thing I think an angle everybody is missing is I think Busby is using that girl also. Just hear me out.
Hold on.
I
Hold on.
feel
Before she
like-
get to her point. Because and not to be too graphical, or anything like that, but she just stated that this young lady has a reputation of having connections or intimate relations with other pro athletes. And so I wonder, first of all, I wonder if there's any other athletes that's willing to come out and say, well, no, this is how she is, this is her character, or are they just going to stay away from it? Secondly, I wonder if Shannon knew about all of this, and that's how he kind of got linked up with her. But come to find out, she put that thing on him, and he fell in love, and got, you know, I mean, we all grown here, right? We supposed to be all grown because we just said anybody under 18 got to go. But ladies, let's be honest. Y'all have the ability. Some of y'all had the ability to put that thou wow on men, and they end up doing some crazy stuff. Not blaming y'all on it. It's a gift, I guess. You know. And in Shay Shay's case, it may be the cause and cure, right? Marie said, "Jesus, take the wheel." Right, take the wheel, because Shay need to take his Apple iPhone or his Android or whatever he used, because apparently things are just not looking in his favor. I just don't know no other way to say that. But we grown folks here now. We keep it $1.50 on hashtag I'm gonna say it. That's just not the name of the show, people. Those of you that's new in here, it's not just the name of the show. We gonna say it. And this is what I'm getting. I'm getting vibes of, if I'm going off what Tisa tells us, a shout out to Tisa Tells, great content by the way. But if it's based on how she putting it, and she's saying that this lady was, had other relationship with pro athletes, I think Shannon just dipped in the pool and, she snatched his soul. Made his toes curl or something. And now, and that could because she was willing to play out his fantasies. But then she got to a point where she didn't want to do it no more. And by that time, he was already, I don't know. Maybe one of the other pro athletes or some of the other pro athletes that she allegedly was with will come out and speak on Shay Shay's behalf. But as it stands right now, once again, if I got to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, the same way people not running to the line to help Puffy Jacket, I don't see any other athletes coming to help Shay Shay.
Like, After Jay-Z, Tony Busby's reputation was in the toilet. It's still in the toilet. He was exposed as not having any receipts and talking big and bad, but not having anything to back it up and also being legally sloppy. You were smart enough to get that 19-year-old girl to come to you, but she's 19. She don't know any better, right? Or maybe she do. You could have easily settled. But the thing is, with Tony Busby, he needed to rehab his image. He needed a win. How would he get that win? Because again, myself and a lot of people are like, oh, please, you don't count. What are you talking about? Blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? In his first case post Jay-Z, not only does he have all the cards, he has all the receipts, and it's a slam dunk case. So next time Tony Busby says, ring-a-ding-ding, I'd like to talk to you, let's enter into settlement, everybody is going to run flocking because Shannon Sharpe has single-handedly breathed life into Tony Busby's legal reputation. Damn. Again, I think that girl's using him, and I think if someone can get close to that girl and let her know the way Tony Busby is not the hero y'all think he is, he's just not, right? But if everybody can get into that girl's head, and I think that's Shannon's point, I think he thinks he can pull her away from Tony Busby. But that said, we don't have to wait to see where it goes, because I will say one thing, that girl is not happy with just money. She wants more, and it leads me to believe that Shannon did exactly what he said that she could, because there is a good chance she's not even going to get $10 million. But I don't think it's about the money. I don't think it's or. I think it's an and. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk.
All right, that concludes segment number 2. Now, a couple of things with that though that she said at the end, and it goes to Demetrius' point. Regardless of what happened, his reputation, as far as in the court of public opinion, he's lost. Like I don't think there's no coming back from this. Now, he dodged the first two. He dodged the first two, but I just don't. This has gotten. I don't know. This has gotten out of hand. It's gotten a lot. It's garnering a lot of press coverage. And another thing I think is the fact of the matter of, given everything that's going on with Puffy Jacket and just the temperature of the celebrity community right now, is why this is getting the press that it's getting. And not saying that it shouldn't, or is that it's not deserving of. I'm just trying to say, but hey, we got to keep it even. We got to keep it even. And like I said before, I'll continue saying it. I think time is what's going to determine which way this case goes. Liz, good morning to you. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, Seg 3. Seg 3. And the Seg 3, the source cred for Seg 3 is Jamel, aka Jamal. We've talked about this on previous shows as well, when T. Howe came out and did his interview and stated what his interaction with Puffy Jacket was. And as we all know, that set social media ablaze. Okay? Well, now it says T. Howe exposes the industry again.
Again.
In an interview with Bill Maher, goes viral. So we're just going to dive into it. I don't know. I haven't seen it. So we're going to see what it says. Liz says, I'm all right, getting close to 100 followers, just at 76. Hey, y'all, look, mods, do me a favor. Pin Liz.2.01. Pin that comment right there. And those of you that's in my room right now, if you're not following her, go and follow Liz. Go and follow Liz. She's good people. She's honest people. And she's very caring and compassionate. Let's get her to her. She's just asking to get to 100. We can do that. I know we can do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again, man. Thank y'all so much for coming over. Got this video here from the Breakfast Club. just know that I'm not going to be able to show the video. It's just going to be the audio. But Terrence Howard is going viral again, reveals why he passed on Marvin Gaye biopic. I've heard somewhere, somebody sent me something, said they think he's going to be starting a podcast. Yo, but we going to check this out. He's one of the ones, I guess, that's, exposing Hollywood. Because I believe he's famous, but he ain't like a mega star. So we ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
All right, so Terrence Howard sat down with Bill Maher on Club Random, on his Club Random podcast.
I love that podcast, by the way. Salute to Bill Maher.
Great conversations always. They talked about a ton of things. It was like an hour and 55 minutes long. But in conversation, one of the things that they talked about that a lot of people grabbed was the conversation of Marvin Gaye and why Terrence Howard did not want to play him in the biopic. Let's take a listen.
I just had conversations with Lee Daniels about playing Marvin Gaye, and I was like being faithful to Lee Daniels because I had given my word as a man, I'm going to do this with you.
You would have been perfect as Marvin Gaye, and that is a story that needs to be
I will
told.
let you know what happened with that. I was over at Quincy Jones' house. I'm asking Quincy.
Today we are.
Oh, we got a commercial. Listen, while we got the commercial going, and when that's done, we can get back to the show. But while we got the commercial going, listen, if you will, we at 7.3 thousand right now, 7,300 right now. Yesterday we hit 21,000. Let's double tap the screen. Let's gift and uplift. Please, if you can, take 5 of your friends to share it with. Share if you care. Let's get this out here. Jessica Love, thank you for the heart puffs. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Okay, this man just mentioned Lee Daniels and Quincy Jones, and you guys know the rumors about Quincy. Look, if that's a lifestyle, that's what you do, that's fine. I ain't here to judge or critique, none of that. I'm just saying, if you're trying to, get someone to indulge in that, if they want to make it or want a part, that's a whole nother ball game there.
Agreed.
Because I know that's where he going.
I'm hearing rumors that Marvin was gay. And I'm like, was he gay? And Quincy's like, yes. They would have wanted to do that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Well, you mean you couldn't kiss a guy on screen in a movie? Yeah.
No, because I don't fake it.
I couldn't kiss a man either. That's true, and that does not.
That would me. I would cut my lips off. I can't play that character.
Right.
100%. I can't.
Right.
Pause. What? Let me. And this is this ain't a right or wrong answer. This is a preference thing. Could you all do that if you were in a movie, if you're filming? Because I'm gonna use it from my perspective. When we're filming a show, I have to. I don't know who you are, and no, I'm not co-hosting or anything like that. But when we're filming, I'm into my character, right? So like even the day that we're filming, when I wake up, I'm already going over things in my head. I'm getting in the persona of Stacks. You understand? So when I get on the set and the camera comes on and we start filming, it's like Stacks is a real person and that's his real life. And so now when I'm doing my scenes and doing my lines, they come like like it's nothing because I've put myself in the mind state of Stacks, right? And that'll be out July 1st on YouTube. Dope Girls, y'all check it out. Right? It's the same as when I was doing pro wrestling. The day of the show, when I wake up and I'm traveling or whatever, I'm in the mind frame. I'm going over stuff in my head. You know what I mean? I'm going through the storyline. I'm going through the angles. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So that's what I would do. And then by the time I got to the ring, or the cameras went on and the curtains open, if I had to do a promo or if I had to do something in the match, I was already ready to do it because I was already in the mindset. Rap God Thanos, what's up, brother? Good morning to you. Are you in Georgia, bro? Yeah. I'm in the A. I'm in the A. I appreciate you sharing it too. You in Georgia? So I can get where T. Howe is coming from. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a biopic, but if he was that, and then you want me to play him, and I know that in that role I'm gonna have to do some things that he did, but that's not my cup of tea. That's not my style. I can't do it. Oh, my fellow AT alien, what's up with you then? What's up, Rap God? I knew we linked for a reason, man. My fellow AT alien. Jessica says, yeah, but this is on your character, but it's your manhood. Right. And that's what I'm saying. So like I can't do some even in character. Like I can't do something in character that goes against my manhood in real life. So I get where he's coming from on that. Like I, I look, no shade to Marvin Gaye, whatever talented artist. Uh, and several rumors have been stated about him, but to the point of he's still good. He's still a musical legend. You know, I couldn't do that, and so I get where he's coming from. Jessica says, "And your morals, exactly," and that's more prevalent. Like your morals, you know, you can't do that. Like you can't. Okay, Larry, and we just saying, say if he did go along with that movie, right? And he played the part, and then we saw him kissing and hunching another man. When you see the awards show, you still gonna remember him kissing and hunching the dude. Like you gonna be like, but dang, I thought he was against that because he was exposing everybody else and doing that. You know. Um, there's some movie and I can't remember the name of it, but Holly Berry and I think his name is Billy Bob Thornton or something. I can't remember, but they had a sexual scene, and I ain't gonna lie, they did it so good that I think they was really doing it. But afterwards, all you could Marie, hold on. Marie said it's the hunching for me. I'm just saying. After I saw the movie, even when I saw Halle Berry, I was just like Halle Berry. I'm sorry. I was like, man. I mean, yo, Billy was giving you the business. Like, are you know? And that's just that's just me. So you can't escape what you do. So you just got to be careful.
I got a lot of thoughts about this.
What?
Number one, I don't care that he doesn't want to kiss a man. He has the right to not want to do that. Like that's his values.
That's true.
That's his boundaries. You know what I mean?
To
If
your
he feels
point.
like that's not,
To
he
your
doesn't want to
point,
do that
just-
for a role.
He can play
has
whatever
every
part he
right to
wants.
feel like that. Second, I don't know if Terrence Howard is the perfect Marvin Gaye. I know Terrence is a great actor, but I'm like Marvin Gaye. I don't see Terrence Howard as no Marvin Gaye.
Bill
Well,
Maher,
Lenny Kravitz turned it down too. Lenny Kravitz declined the role of
I
Marvin
don't see
Gaye.
Lenny
too.
Kravitz as no
Yeah,
Marvin
nah,
Gaye.
not
either.
Lenny.
Bill
not
Maher
Lenny
said
Kravitz.
you would have been a great Marvin Gaye. Who do
No
you
shade.
see as Marvin Gaye?
I don't know. I got to think about it, but it ain't Terrence Howard or Lenny Kravitz. And I know acting is acting, but I just don't see that. And why is Marvin Gaye? Because his last name Gaye? When the hell did Marvin Gaye become gay? When people die, whatever we knew about them when they were dead, I'm talking about the public, it should stay that way. Like
I feel like the thing is, a lot of people may have been saying this, nobody really listened.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like with a song, like it could be a really, really great song, and then someone do a cover of it and it makes it more popular. So I feel like because when you talk about Diddy, a lot of people been saying a lot of things about him
Facts.
for years, but now everybody's starting to listen. So
He's right. He's right. I mean, they said the same thing about Luther. And they were saying he was, you know, Marvin's last name. Uh, but once again, an icon, an R&B icon. Another one. I bring up another one. Freddie Jackson. Some of the greatest songs in the 80s I can but listen though. He allegedly liked not what he was singing to. You understand? Jenny says T How is okay with turning it down, but none of them people are Marvin. I agree. I think man, I don't know who could play. Who would I think would make a good Marvin? I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know. Rap God said always a whisper of something. It's always, especially when they achieve a certain amount of fame. It's always gonna be something said. It doesn't matter, and people take this with you all in your daily lives. No matter what you do, no matter what good you do, and who you do it for. If you do good for, okay. I'll give you an example. Let's just say you walk outside your house. You just got a bag, and you just feeling generous and grateful for what you've gotten, your fortunes that you just gotten, and you go outside and you say, "Hey, the first 100 people I meet, I'm gonna give them $1,000. I'm gonna give them a G, just off GP. No real. I just want to give it to them. Out of them 100 people, it's still gonna be people that's got something negative to say about you. You understand? So it really doesn't matter what you do. You understand? So it's the same as these people. Jenny says, I think Bashir would be better than T. Howard. Yeah. I don't. What's the guy's name? He plays Captain America. Uh, I can't think of his name, but I think the dude that played Captain America may be good too. I can't remember his name. He played in. Well, I'm gonna tell you where I start. Where I first saw him was in that movie. We Are Marshall. He broke his shoulder. I can't remember his name. Rap God says we never got a complete story on Teddy P. Neither. No, we didn't. We didn't. And I'm sure you heard the rumors just as much as I had that he was with a Transformer. But we don't. We don't. You feel me? Jenny says, yeah, he would be better than Howard. You know what I'm talking about, right?
They said there was a lot of dudes in the industry that were, but it was kind of like on the low. And I just think with social media, just the evolution of that, it can be more exposed now. But I mean, and I ain't even trying to make a joke here, but it was a play on his last name, even though it's spelled Gaye. It was still a play on his name that they were people used to be like, is Marvin, but yeah. I mean, it again, just like I said, if people if that's what they're doing, that's fine.
To each his own.
But on the flip side of that, if someone says I don't want no part of it, that's fine too.
Facts.
Hey. But
Facts.
I just hate when they be like, if you don't do this, you're not going to get any other role. You know what I mean? That's where the problem comes in at.
So when they do something like that, that's kind of like hazing. To me that's hazing. That's the sacrifice. That's the what Cat Williams was telling us about, right? That's what they do. So they make you do them things, and then it's like, aha, we got you. You gotta do what we say. If you don't, then we're gonna put this video out that we all, you know, to say, hey, well, you got to do this to get this part. That's equivalent to selling your soul.
But Terrence Howard is like, I'm gonna have to check that interview out because I know he probably talked more about it as far as like them trying to probably, I don't know how long ago that was. Let me see.
Ready to lose the hat and
Hold on, we got another commercial. Jessica says Cat talks all about that. Right, right. And he's not lying. I mean, that's what happened.
Why you just gonna make a whole movie and just turn the man gay? Now he gay to a whole generation and he wasn't gay. He just his last name.
Well, they did it to Luther. They did Luther Vandross as well, right?
We just talked about
a little
that.
different.
Why? What's the difference?
Because
What's the difference?
those rumors were there when he was alive.
Hold on, let me get these comments real quick. Rap God says, oh, that went up too fast. Hold up. Caught it too late. I heard a rumor about Cat, and they say Hollywood may have gotten to him. I've heard that too, and I've heard that's why he knows so much. Liz says, never do anything you're not comfortable with doing. People need to realize the power of no. Facts. Scott Bonner, 67. Welcome to the live. How you doing, my brother? He says, Jay Fox as Marvin. True. Let me give it up to you on that. Because he did awesome at Ray. He did an awesome Ray. He would be good. Yeah, you're right. He would be good at Marvin. Jenny says, please go follow Liz 2.0, friends. Yes, absolutely. Let's go. Everybody follow her, please. It takes a village, and we are that village.
Like I don't know if it was it wasn't a secret as much as it wasn't our business.
Same. I don't know. I think there's a lot to Marvin Gaye's life though that I think would make a great biopic for any actor that chooses to do it. So I think I can understand where Terrence Howard's coming from, but they talked about this too on the podcast. Like he has such a big life and such a big career that would be like one point of so many others that you would touch on. And they have been trying to make this biopic, not this specific one because this didn't happen, but they've been trying to make a couple different ones. There was recently an announcement I remember seeing that
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine were supposed to be doing something as well too. I don't know where that has ended up, but whoever.
Yo, anytime you hear Jimmy Iovine, you know it's trouble.
Wasn't Tyrese supposed to play Marvin Gaye at one time too?
Tyrese was Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that was Lee Daniels too.
It was.
Lee was gonna make that gay as well.
That was Lee Daniels' fault.
That's what you didn't watch the Club Random? He said this Marvin Gaye was a Lee Daniels thing.
It was.
And Terrence said Lee gonna put gay in everything.
But I'm saying why?
You sure didn't Tyrese dress up like him and sing the national anthem one time? That was Teddy Pendergrass. I thought that was Marvin Gaye.
No, the Tyrese dressing up was separate than him. There was conversations about him playing that role, and then him and the wife got into it because he said that he didn't think that
when he dressed up, I thought that was a character he created.
But people thought that it was Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that was separate. Remember we talked about it when he was up here. And Lee Daniels was here too that same day. Remember?
Yes.
Yes. It was.
Lee Daniels is gonna add a little gay to everything. I just want y'all to know that. Okay, if it don't have a little hint of gay, Lee is like Salt Bae. He gonna sprinkle a little gay on it.
Remember you check your phone, Charlotte.
Remember how Salt Bae used to sprinkle a little gay? Lee gonna sprinkle a little gay on it.
Ain't nothing wrong with
you know
little
that
gay
right now.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little gay.
Yeah, but a little gay. Where's that drop, Ray?
Ain't nothing wrong with being a little gay. Everybody's a little gay.
Okay. Let's, God, we respect the dead. This is not, this is not the views of hashtag I'm gonna say it, anything like that. Okay, this is just we just bring it to you. We just reporting.
Mac, one of our producers, Big Mac, said Luke James would be a good Marvin. I can see. I ain't never heard that in my life. Only thing I ever heard about Marvin Gaye being gay was his last name being gay. I ain't never heard about Marvin Gaye. Marvin was a ladies' man from what I grew up knowing. I ain't never heard that before. And if you over there typing is Marvin Gaye gay, that's crazy.
Now, I will say I didn't hear about Marvin being his last name. I didn't. But what I did hear about, in rumors, I'm calling it rumors because I don't know. I did hear that he liked younger girls.
No.
Is that what you Googling?
I did because I remember a time someone came out and talked about it after he passed away.
I don't ever.
And I was
remember.
trying to
wasn't even
find.
born after Marvin Gaye passed away.
No, I'm like recently, and I was trying to. This person recently passed away, and they talked about it before they did. And I was trying to find out who it was that said it, that brought it back up, and people were pissed that he did.
Never heard that in my life.
It's been a rumor. I've heard the rumor or whatever. But if they do touch on it, I was going to say Luke James would be because he's played a gay character in The Chi. All right, moving on. Y'all are crazy.
Luke James. I forgot about The Chi. Yeah.
Um,
Do not buy new windows if
Oh,
you
hold
live
on,
in
it's
Georgia.
commercial. Yeah, I forgot about Luke James, man. I haven't seen The Shy in so long. But yeah. And the older brother, he was the older brother. And he came from Calumet to Chicago to get his little brother straight. Yeah, he would be. He would be.
let me see. I guess I can see that he's going viral because he said, "I'll cut off my lips." Hey, it is what it is, man. But I got to see if he's starting a podcast because um,
I'm sorry. This just came across the wire. So the Falcons have fined, I think it's the DC, the defensive coordinator, um, whose son prank called Shador during the draft, $250,000. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's the. Come on, man. Anyway, that just broke.
that's gonna be very interesting because he may be out there really going in on the industry. Someone said Donald Glover should play Marvin Gaye.
Mm, mm, yeah. I mean, I can see
Uh,
it.
someone said no, there were rumors about Marvin when he was alive. Uh, someone said Usher play him.
I'm not gonna even go there.
Yeah, if that's how the brother feels, that's how he feels. But like I said, if that's the reason he's getting blackballed, that's so messed up, man. So messed up. You know, because I'm like, okay, do you want him to play this role, or is it more to it? Just because of the rumors of Quincy Jones and stuff, that with Tupac, it's a lot, man. This stuff gets deep and crazy. Hey, appreciate y'all coming over.
All right, that concludes segment number 3. You all good? Y'all still rocking with me? You okay? I'm gonna do like we do in football. We're going to the 4 segs, fourth quarter. Put your fours in the air. But we're gonna change the temperature a little bit on the fourth seg though. We're gonna do. We did the celebrity stuff. We got that covered. We're gonna change it a little bit. We about to. Y'all with me? Okay. Got your fours. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate it. Marie says, if you rocking, we rolling. I appreciate that, bestie. That's what I'm talking about. Jessica says, keep going. All right. Liz said, woo. Let's go. We're gonna close out. But listen now, we gonna change. We're about to change the temperature a little bit. Now, on previous shows, we've talked about sundown towns. We talked about the twins that were from Lawrenceville, that were found in Hiawassee, unalived on a mountain. And those people, and by the way, let me tell you, when we took our little girl, my wife and I took our little girl to the Cabbage Patch Hospital, Babyland Hospital, it's up by Hiawassee. And I'm gonna tell you, that's not where we needed to be. We went there. We went to Babyland Hospital, and we got on up out of there. But we were near that mountain. Those twins was found on. And so when they say that these twin brothers unalived each other, I don't buy that. And I don't buy that. I could see where that volunteer firefighter, if that's indeed him, I mean, I could see him doing it, right? So we're gonna talk about sundown town there, but this is another set of twin brothers that quote unquote drowned in a sundown town. All right. So let's go. Oh.
Investigation.
Source created an introvert rock star.
This is our top story tonight. Now, on Thursday evening, a call came from Lake Pushmataha in the Pearl River community that an incident had occurred. Choctaw police arrived on the scene and discovered 2 individuals were in the water. Diamond Paler has been in Neshoba County today and has more.
According to Sheriff Eric Clark and the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians Public Safety Facebook page, a drowning incident was reported Thursday evening around 6:57 p.m. on the Choctaw Indian Reservation at Lake Pushmataha and involved 2 victims that had been under the water for some time. The search and rescue was handled by Choctaw Fire and PD and turned over to the sheriff's office once it was discovered that the individuals involved were non-tribal members. Sheriff Clark confirms that one victim, now identified as Jamarian Grady, was pronounced dead on the scene, and the other victim that was flown to Jackson is his twin, Camarian Grady. He is receiving care at UMMC. News 11 will continue to bring further updates. Reporting from Neshoba County, Diamond Paler, WTOK News 11.
And in a statement released by the Philadelphia School District, the victim identified as Jamarian Grady was a senior at Philadelphia High School, known by his classmates and friend as Frog. The district expressed their condolences and prayers for his twin brother and the entire Grady family, and that they all loved him. Quote, Frog will always be remembered for his light, his laughter, and the legacy of love he leaves behind, end quote. The school district also announcing that plans to honor his life and memory, both in school and throughout the community, will be shared in the coming days. We here at News 11 also extend our prayers to the Grady family, the Philadelphia School District family, and all that are mourning after this tragic accident.
And again, I'm going to say it over and over and over again. On this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable, because if we don't, who will? I keep telling y'all, we have to start doing our own investigations. We can no longer trust their media, especially in Mississippi. It's an old saying, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it must be a duck. Meaning, we all know the history of Mississippi. And
facts. Hold on. Before we go any further, because I don't want nobody to feel some kind of way. When we talk about this, we not saying all YT people. Okay? We're not saying all YT people are racist. But we would be simple-minded to think that there was none, right? Now, allow me to follow up on that too. Allow me to follow up on the comment I just made. There's racist BLK people as well. But not all BLK people are racist. All right, I want to get that out. I want to make sure we point that out. Philadelphia, Mississippi, where this happened. I can't remember. If anybody likes sports in here, I like sports, but I just can't remember his name. I think it was Marcus Dupree. I think his name. But he was a running back. He was a sensational running back. And he was from Philadelphia, Mississippi. He went to Oklahoma and played running back there. He got hit, had a concussion. I think he had several concussions, but he never made it pro because whatever happened, happened. You know, I probably with a lot of the concussions probably messed with him. But he ended up going into the world of pro wrestling. I've talked to him a couple of times on Facebook. He's a great dude. But even back then, there was racial tension back then. And if you catch his hold on one second. If you catch his go on ESPN, you can catch his documentary. I think it's called The Greatest That Never Was. Check that out. So even back then in the 70s, you see what we're dealing with. As far as in the same city, same town that he's talking about, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Right? Not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to South Philly. Not there. We're talking about Mississippi. And in this case, Mississippi. Jenny says racism is everywhere, and it's not just one color either. But not everyone is that way. Exactly. Exactly, Bessie. Let's make sure we get that out.
In their lives. Matter of fact, I just covered the story about 10-year-old Jordan Hill from Mississippi. He was murdered by Cody Rollinson. And guess what? The cops didn't care about that. If it wasn't for social media, those cops would have never even mentioned that. They lied about arresting him. So you think in this situation, I'm going to believe anything the news outlets say? You think I'm believe anything those cops say? Hell no. And I'm always telling y'all, sometimes you have to sit back, shut up, and use your common sense. Look at these young, healthy twins. You think they drowned by mistake in a sundown town. You think they drowned by mistake. Someone on Facebook said they was great swimmers and they was athletes. Make it make sense. Let's be real. But let's take a trip down memory lane right quick. A month ago in a sundown town in Georgia.
Okay, now he about to talk about the twins that I was just talking about here in Georgia.
Another set of twins was murdered on top of the mountain. And when it first happened, the cops lied. They said they believed themselves. And to this day, we have no answers. You still had a volunteer firefighter that took pictures of the whole thing. The volunteer firefighter took pictures of the dead bodies and sent it all over social media to his friends. Make that make sense. Do y'all see the pattern? I'm tripping. And
Nope.
this the cold part about the Grady twins. The update news story, the video that they posted was only 47 seconds. The disrespect. Man, run a damn tape.
Neshoba County authorities are investigating after twin brothers drowned. Breezy News reported the incident happened about 7 o'clock last Thursday evening at Lake Pushmataha when the two Philadelphia high school seniors were fishing. Neshoba County Sheriff Eric Clark says Camarion Grady died yesterday at UMMC in Jackson, and his brother Jamarion Grady died last Thursday. The Philadelphia Public School District says the brothers' deaths is a tremendous loss to the community. In a statement, the district said, quote, "In a show of unity and strength, we invite our school and community members to wear red and black on Wednesday, April 23rd, as we stand together in remembrance and support of Camarion and Jamarion. Billy Strong," end quote.
Jamarion and Cameron Grady were known for being great swimmers, and there was athletes. You're not about to sit up here and tell me those twins allowed each other to die. I'm not going for it. I'm not buying it. And I know a lot of people are going to think I'm lying when I say Neshoba County is a sundown town. Well, check this out, partner. Yes, Neshoba County, Mississippi is considered a sundown town. While no official list exists for sundown towns, the town of Philadelphia, located in Neshoba County, was known for its strong racist policies and customs, particularly in the mid-20th century, making it a classic example of a sundown town. And see, this is the part of the news they won't show you. But like I told y'all, on my channel, we let nothing slide, nothing getting away from us. We go connect.
Yes, it
all
is,
the dots.
Jessica.
You tell me this
Jessica said,
happened
wow,
last
this is
week,
unbelievably
regardless of what
sad.
the people-
It really
this
is.
updated video
And it
is
happens
only
more than
47
than the
seconds
media
long.
exposes.
Make it make sense. And that's why I'm always telling y'all, you cannot trust their media because they go spin the narrative every time to benefit them. How we know there was fishing? Who called the cops? Where is the footage? It's not adding up. And then I said, wait. Let me do my research on this sundown town because as long as you know the history of these sundown towns, it's going to tell you everything you need to know. And the rabbit hole gets deeper. Check this out. This is the same county back in 1964. 3 civil rights activists was murdered by the KKK. And a lot of y'all probably saw the movie. It's called Mississippi Burning. But wait. There's more. Fast forward to 2025. And let's go to their school district, the same school district that gave them a memorial. Check this out. And this article is by the Neshoba Democrat. It was published February 12th, 2025. I need y'all to listen because this shit is crazy. A man is accusing the Philadelphia public schools of racism and covering up child R-word. The man, John Killen, from near Linwood, appeared before the Philadelphia Mayor and Board of Aldermen last Tuesday night, alleging racism and accusing law enforcement of a cover-up. Killen took to social media after the meeting with a rant on race and accusing the high school principal, a black woman, of forcing white teachers to perform mock LYNCINGS as part of training. Make that make sense. It's 2025.
And that's the school system now. That's the school system. And it's 20. This is what. Come on, man.
You tell me the media is talking about Shannon Sharpe right now. What about this? Look at this. What's the purpose of this in 2025? And you want me to believe anything the Mississippi news outlets say? You want me to believe anything that Mississippi cops say? And earlier I asked y'all, was I tripping? But Mr. John Killen saying something to let me know I wasn't tripping. Check this out. He said laws are being broken. You have people reporting the R word and everything else that's going on in this school. Your police department hasn't done anything. Everybody hides behind, I don't know, or I haven't checked my emails. And I told y'all already, in the South, they go by their own rules, they go by their own laws. Everyone in the world, everyone in the country knows that Mississippi probably is the most racist state in this country. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Mississippi is stuck in 1964 and they might not ever, come to 2025. They're going to always be stuck. What's the point of doing this in 2025? I will sit and wait.
Facts. It makes no sense.
And we may never know what happened to Jamarion and Cameron Brady. That's why I always say we have to start communicating with each other because something is going on. The media is not on our side. You can't tell me that these twins in Georgia died in a sundown town and nothing happened. You
Be
can't
the light.
tell me
Thank
these
you for
twins
that,
in
Harvey. How you
Mississippi
doing, brother?
drowned
I
by
appreciate that.
accident in a sundown town. I'm not buying
You
it.
doing good?
So when it comes to this case, I'm going to be locked in. So rest in peace to those twins and to the family. I'm sorry this happened to y'all. But in my opinion, and I know I'll probably never ever talk to y'all, and y'all probably have a different opinion than me, but I'm looking on the outside in, and throughout all history, we all know
Good,
what
good.
Mississippi is about. Mississippi is always lying, especially when it
Rap God says they have more hate groups in that one state than all states combined. Isn't that true? It's crazy. Like Mississippi is stuck in that time, and I don't know if it's ever gonna come out of it. In fact, I saw a couple days ago there was an article written up where a former athlete who played football, he attended Ole Miss, played ball there, and he said, "Hey, Echo, grand rising to you. How you doing?" And he was saying that was the most racist time of his life playing at that school. So it makes you wonder what all is going on the campus of Ole Miss. I hadn't heard much about Mississippi State, but hey, it's in the state. So what all is going on that we don't know?
Comes to our people dying. How two healthy twins died, drowned together, and no one saw anything. The only thing they saw is always somebody. Do y'all notice this? It's always somebody that comes and find the bodies, but we never see that person. With the twins in Georgia, it was a hiker. Where was the hiker? Why he didn't give no interviews? Why everybody else gave an interview, but the person that found the bodies is always the same goddamn story. I'm out.
Shout out to Introvert Rockstar once again with another great content that he put out. Very factual. But people, this is what we're going through. Echo says, I'm well, thanks. Hope all is well with you. I'm doing much better. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, love. This is something that has to be addressed. And this is why I say we have to come together. We cannot. The media is, like I said, they've got their narrative that they're going to run with and that they're going to spin it all the time. And they are part of everything. You understand? So it's up to us to stand in solidarity with each other, to love each other. And how many of you know that love is actually free? In some cases, depending on what you want. But no, I'm for real. All jokes aside, it's free. It's free to be a nice person. You understand? We can do that. We can do that. And I've had people say, "Well, I'm racist." How? Let me tell you all something before I go, because we're going to end the show after this. But I've done my little ancestry and me kit and stuff like that. And like I said, it traced back when the people that my blood, my DNA came to, they were cotton white, YT. These YT people. And you all see how dark I am, but they're still my blood relatives. So understand, no matter how much we try to ignore the fact, America's ugly history is going to always remain prevalent. Like, you can't escape it. Not talking about it, that's not going to work. Seeing my great grandmother, God rest her soul, she had the lightest of brown skin with baby blue eyes. So I got to see what my ancestors went through on a daily basis. You understand? Jessica White says their whole job is making sure we stay against each other, whether it's BLK, YT, DIM, or REP. Exactly. You got the whole thing right. You got it sold up right there. Your whole thing. Maz is paying her comment because that's exactly what it is. And I try to preach as much as I can to people, and especially these youths that's around here. Rap God, you know, we live in the same area. You know, I try to let them know, listen, going out here and being a thug or trying to act like that's not they listen, you're playing right into the hands of society. If you want somebody to be scared of you, show them that you're articulate. Show them that you're smart. Show them that you're educated. Be the lights that 65% of Americans are with mixed nationalities of some sort. Facts, brother. Facts. So there's no way that we should be sitting here having any kind of racism. It doesn't make sense. And I said it before, and I'll say it a gazillion times if I'm blessed to do so. When God said, love thy neighbor, he didn't specify a race. When he said we were his kids, he didn't specify what race was his kids. So that told me that he meant all. None is better than the other. Thank you for joining hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. I've been your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. If you like the content, please go subscribe. When you subscribe, when you come into the lives, you'll get a gold badge next to your name that'll say crew. That indicates to me that you are my news crew member. Also, you'll be able to use these special stickers that I have. You'll be able to use those here in the comment section on our lives. I appreciate it so much. Echo says, oh, I came too late. Laugh out loud. It's okay. It's okay. I got you covered. So what you're going to do, love, go on YouTube, follow my channel, G Smooth 404. Go and follow that. What I do, I put the episodes that we have that you miss, I put it on there. Now, it may be later on tonight because sometimes I go for a long time and it's hard to upload everything, like the whole show. So what I do, it takes time for it to upload because it's so long. But go follow that, and I promise you it'll be there. All right? Thank you all for joining me today. You all have a blessed day, and please be safe out there. Peace and blessings.